Good morning, Link by Ink. Nancy Burt-Preece here. I'm also doing this video and I will put it on my YouTube channel so my customers can see it too. I hope you're having a great day. It is February 6th and it is a little chilly out this morning, but it's going to get warmer, so that's great. I wanted to show you the stamp set I'm using, which is Thoughtful Expressions. I love the sayings, but I got it because I love the hummingbird. I had to have that for the hummingbird. And then I have the dies, the Thoughtful Expression dies that go with it. This is in the mini catalog. So let me show you a technique. I've been enjoying doing some techniques lately, and this is the spotlight technique. So we'll make this card, but I'll show you how I did this one. So the measurements are not hard for this one. So it is your regular card base and a regular white 4 by 5 1/4. Then the only difference is this white is 2 7/8 square, and this is a 3 by 3 black. What I did, it's kind of like if you've ever done the triple time stamping, is I put just a teeny bit of adhesive on the white. I didn't use the black yet. Put them both down and I stamped at the same time. Then I picked it up and just colored this. So I'm kind of just spotlighting this area. And I did run it through an embossing folder. You would not have to. I just thought it'd add a little pizzazz to it. And then I colored the hummingbird. How did I know how to color the hummingbird? Well, I actually had to look up online, like colors for hummingbirds. You know, you think, oh, I know what those are. Well, I had to look them up, and there are so many different kinds of hummingbirds. So I just chose the ruby red hummingbird, whatever. What are the colors? They are Poppy Parade and Granny Apple Green and Smoky Slate. So this is, I'd say, if I hadn't embossed it, it would have been a real beginner, because you can fussy cut this out if you don't have the dies. But this is the one I wanted to share today because I had a lot of thoughts and some interesting techniques I hope that you'll like. So this is going to start, so I'll move this one off. This is going to start with a piece of fresh freesia, which is 4 1/4 by 11. And it is scored at 5 1/2. Then I have a piece of basic black, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So once again, those measurements are pretty normal, pretty standard. So let me go ahead and adhere this, and we can put that to the side because that's done for a little bit. So now I wanted to show you, oops, I meant to open these dies. And I see a lot of people watching. Hello, good morning. I have not put them on a mat yet. But I loved these dies. I just thought this was great with all these different mats. I love the hummingbird. It's just a really pretty set of dies. So I decided I wanted to use those dies for part of the spotlight. So now I'm taking a piece, make sure I'm saying it right, 3 3/4 by 5. And what I'm going to do, it's basic white. I am going to bring in a little scrap paper because I'm going off the edge. I am using my glass mat and I love it. But for a technique like this where you're going off the edge a lot, it starts getting pretty messy and you're constantly cleaning your mat. So I decided I am going to use some scrap paper, and I am going to use the flower stamp, and I am using that in just our Memento Black. So I will ink it up really well. Oops, before I do that, one more thing. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this, and it's okay if you put a little bit of adhesive on the back because it's going to be covered up, so it's really okay. And I'm going to put that kind of where I want it. I'm going to do all the stamping, and I'll take that off. Some people actually cut that part out. You could do that too. I'm just doing it this way. There are lots of ways to do the technique. I like it because it's a fun technique. It showcases, it's different. And I'm always trying to do different. So I can go right here because I want to make sure that gets spotlighted with the flowers. Then I'm just going to go around and fit these flowers in all around. And if it gets a little bit on there, I'm okay with that. I'm just adding them all around. I see lots of you watching. Hopefully you've all tried this kind of technique before. It's great to use in classes. And I'm going to be using it with some of my classes this week. So you can do it as filled as you want. I think I'm going to let that, well, maybe I'll do one up here. Probably be enough. Then I'm going to close this and pick this little piece up carefully. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this part to the card base. So you wouldn't have to, you know, do all the extra stuff I'm doing. I wanted to do, you wouldn't have to, some people just do the flowers, that's it. And they do not add the hummingbird, but I love the hummingbird, so I had to add that. So now, and I'll have to make sure when I put it back on, I'll have to kind of line it up. I am going to color this, and the colors I'm using are the Fresh Freesia and Shaded Spruce. So I'm going to just do a little bit of the Fresh Freesia in the middle. I'm using the dark. And then I'm going to kind of bring that out. I did the wrong thing. Well, these are going to be opposite. I thought I had the dark. I had the light in the middle. Well, listen, this is going to be a neat effect, which really is totally okay. You know, sometimes I have people in my classes and they're like, oh, I did it wrong. Well, not necessarily. You did a creative twist on it. And every time I create, it's a little bit different. And maybe I actually like it this way. I might actually. I'll have to take them to a class and see what people like the best. But so I'm using the darker. I did a technique like this not too long, and I didn't color them completely in. This time I am. It's a personal preference. You wouldn't have to. You can leave some white artfully. I'm just coloring gently because you don't want to push too hard on your tips. Okay, now I'm going to add some of the light Shaded Spruce. And I'm doing it very gently. People also get upset about going out of the lines. And I always say, well, just make it look like it was supposed to be that way. Because it happens. I'm not sure if that part is supposed to be green or not, but that's what I'm coloring it. I actually don't know what kind of flowers these are per se. But I'm just choosing to color what I want. You're the creator, so you can do anything you want. Okay. Now, I have to kind of see how I got that. See, I was silly. I immediately turned it. Did you see me do that? It's like, what are you doing, girl? Oh, I bet it goes like that, maybe? Or maybe it goes like that. That's how it goes. See, be careful when you take it off. Don't do what I just did. Be careful when you take it off so you know exactly which way you have to orient it. But of course, I'm on camera, so, you know, I try to make as many mistakes as possible so you can feel really good about yourself. Let me line. I'm not going to put it down yet, but I'm making sure it's got to go like that. Okay. I'm putting it on the mat, which I chose to use black. You could use any color you want. And then I will line it up. I think it's like that. It's close. If it's not, it's close. Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to move this off because I have some sticky on it now. And I'm going to show you two other things. I'm going to show you first what I did. I pre-stamped this and I cut out the exact same thing in black. This is from the Thoughtful Expressions dies. And what I'm going to do is cut this in half. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. Where did I put my adhesive? Right here. Don't you love that? It's right in front of me. We laugh at my classes like it's right in front of you and you can't find it. And I'm going to put the end here. Just kind of line it up. Do the same thing on this end. I'm just putting it so I can kind of see if I've got it relatively even. Well, that one's not quite right. Let me try it again. That's a little better, I think. And then, oh, I popped it up. I'm going to just pop it up. But the nice thing about this technique is you can use one die and get your regular sentiment and then have a little bit that just gives it a little bit of outline around it. It just gives it a little extra so it doesn't sink into the rest of the card. Okay. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did. My husband came up with this. I'm like, should I leave this, you know, just plain, or what should I do with this? And he came up with the idea of just coloring the part that's in the spotlight. So I thought that was brilliant. Now here's another thing. Oh, I cut this out and I got too much white. Well, that's what scissors are for. And I just take a little bit off with my scissors and just go around. Now, you could do it again, but I'm just showing you some way that I sometimes do. In fact, I do it frequently. There's no reason to redo it when I can just cut a little off. And same thing on the bottom. If I don't like exactly, if I think I've got too much down here, I just come back through and just do a little bit of a trim. It's not quite as great as it was, but it's really okay. And that way you're not cutting it out again. Now, what did I color it? The coloring, I went back to the one I used on this card because I liked that coloring. So I'm going to do, I'm using a light granny. I made it a little lighter instead of, I used light and dark on this one. I'm only doing the light on this. Now, is there any reason I'm just doing that? No, personal preference. The beautiful thing about coloring is you can color any way you want. Now, the other thing I'm going to have to do is come in and get a sense on where I'm putting this so I know how far to color. I already kind of colored a little farther than I probably should have. That's okay. I'm just going to color that much, maybe a smidgy up here. That's an official word, smidgy. Okay. And that way, oops, I didn't do the red. The poppy's got to be on there. It just doesn't, it's not the ruby throated. Just adds a little bit of fun to it. And then I popped this up again. So it's fun. We have so many wonderful stamps to spotlight something, and it's just a little bit different. And I don't know about you, but you know, sometimes you have a happy accident. I really do think the darker there actually looks a little better than the lighter. So that was a happy accident. So I'm just going to kind of go like that. I like that he comes off a little bit. And it's just an easy, fun way to do a spotlight card. So it's 2 different kinds of spotlight cards. And there are many different ways. If you watched our demo day, Lori Longwell did a type of spotlight where she cut a little bit out on one card. That was a type of spotlight. So there's lots of ways to do this technique. So I hope you give it a try. And have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.